Welcome to this model. In this model, we'll be looking at Bluetooth and WiMAX. Bluetooth is one type of wireless personal network, that is WPAN. WPAN is a short distance wireless network specially designed to support portable and mobile computing devices such as PC, PDA, printers, cell phones, and variety of consumer electronics. So Bluetooth is a wireless technology that connects cell phones or other devices without using cable. Bluetooth is the cable replacement technology. The symbol rate of Bluetooth is about 1 megabits per second, and it has short range of communication that is nearly 10 meters, and it operates at the same 2.545 gigahertz band. And the main characteristics of Bluetooth is it uses 79 RF channels with 1 megahertz carrier spacing. And it uses the FHSS, that is frequency hopping spectrum, and time division duplexing. The voice link is SUO, that is synchronous connection oriented, and the data link is ACL, asynchronous connectionless. And the topology here is the overlapping piconet forming a scatternet. Piconet, that is a very important term in the context of Bluetooth, is a piconet. A piconet is a collection of Bluetooth devices which are synchronized to same hopping sequence. That is, here you can see the collection of devices with the different roles. One device in the piconet can act as master, and all other devices connected to the master must act as slaves. And the master determines the hopping pattern in the piconet, and the slaves have to synchronize to this pattern. Two additional types of devices are known as parked devices, and these parked devices cannot participate in this piconet. And devices in standby mode do not participate in the piconet, and each piconet has exactly one master up to 7 simultaneous slaves. And how to form, here you can see how to form a piconet. All devices in a piconet hop together, that is the master will give the clock and device ID to the slave, and the hopping pattern is determined by the device ID. And the addresses used in this Bluetooth is active member address and a parked member address. All users within one piconet have the same hopping sequence and shares the same 1 megahertz channel, right? And as more users join the piconet, the throughput per user drops quickly. And this led to the idea of forming groups of piconets called scaternets. So scatternet is nothing but group of piconets. In the example, the scatternet consists of 2 piconets in which one device participates in 2 different piconets. And both piconets use a different hopping sequence always determined by the master of the piconet. And the 3 radio layers are power class 1, power class 2 and power class 3. In power class 1, the maximum power is 100 milliwatts and the minimum is 1 milliwatts. And in power class 2, the maximum power is 2.5 milliwatts and the nominal power is 1 milliwatt. And in power class 3, maximum power is 1 milliwatt. And in security case, that is Bluetooth devices can transmit private data. That is example. For example, it can schedule data between PDA and a mobile phone. A user clearly doesn't want another person to snoop the data transfer. Therefore, the security of data is not available here. So, security in Bluetooth plays a very important role. Bluetooth offers mechanisms for authentication and encryption on the MAC layer, which must be implemented in the same way within each device. The main security features offered by Bluetooth include challenge response routine for authentication, a stream cipher for encryption, and session key generation. The first step is called pairing. This is necessary if 2 Bluetooth devices have never met before. To set up trust between 2 devices, a user can enter a secret PIN code into both devices. This PIN can have a length of up to 16 bytes. Based on the PIN, the device address, and random numbers, several keys can be computed which can be used as link key for authentication. Link keys are typically stored in persistent storage. Based on the link key, values generated during the authentication, and again a random number on encryption key is generated during the encryption stage of the security architecture. This key has a maximum of 128 bits and can be individually generated for each transmission. Based on the encryption key, the device address and the current clock and the payload key is generated for ciphering user data. The payload key is a stream of pseudorandom bits. The ciphering process is a simple XOR of the user data and the payload key. Next, we will be looking at WiMAX. WiMAX is nothing but worldwide interoperability for microwave access. and it was designed by WiMAX Forum and standardized as IEEE 802.16. WiMAX is an advanced technology solution based on open standard designed to meet the need for a very high-speed wide area internet access and to do so in a low-cost and flexible way. It aims to provide business and consumer broadband service on the scale of metropolitan area network. WiMAX can typically support data rates from 500 kilobits per second to 2 megabits per second. With its large range and high transmission rate, WiMAX can serve as a backbone for 802.11 hotspots for connecting to the internet. Alternatively, the users can connect mobile devices such as laptop and handsets directly to WiMAX base station without using 802.11. WiMAX is a family of technology based on IEEE 802.16 standards. There are two main types of WiMAX standards today, fixed by WiMAX and mobile WiMAX. Fixed by WiMAX will be used for point-to-point multi-point technology, whereas mobile WiMAX will be used for multi-point to multi-point technology. Now let us see the WiMAX physical layer. The physical layer supports TDD and full half duplex FDD operation. Another advanced physical features include adaptive modulation and coding, hybrid automatic repeat request, and fast channel feedback to enhance coverage and capacity of WiMAX in mobile applications. For the bands in the 10 to 66 GHz range, 802.16 defines one AR interface called wireless MAN. And the physical design for 2 to 11 GHz is more complex because of the interference. And the three interfaces for the 2 to 11 GHz are wireless MAN SC. SC is it uses single carrier modulation, and wireless MAN OFDM uses 256 carrier OFDM, and wireless MAN OFDM uses a 2048 carrier OFDM scheme. And this is about WiMAX MAC layer. The IEEE 802.16 MAC is significantly different from that of IEEE 802.11b Wi-Fi MAC. The MAC layer of 802.16 is designed to serve spaciously distributed stations with the high data rates. Subscriber stations are not required to listen to one another because this listening might be difficult to achieve in the WiMAX environment. The 802.16 MAC is a scheduling MAC where the subscriber only has to compete once. After that, it is allocated a time slot by the base station, and the scheduling algorithm allows the base station to control QoS by balancing the assignment among the needs of subscribers. The 802.16 MAC protocol is connection oriented and performs link adaptation and ARQ functions to maintain target bit error rate while maximizing the data throughput. It supports different transport technologies such as IPv4, IPv6, Ethernet, and ATM. And this lets the service providers use WiMAX independently of the transport technology they support. The reason WiMAX standards, which adds full mesh networking capabilities, enables WiMAX nodes to simultaneously operate in subscriber and base station mode. Thank you.